Gemini, Gemini rising, and of course all of you Gemini moon people out there. This is your weekly astrological land card horoscope for the week starting February 24th, 2020. And just a quick reminder for everybody out there, should you ever wish to get a session with me, you do need to go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com, or of course you may also just simply follow the links below. So, what is going on when it comes to your astrology over the course of this coming week? Well, on Tuesday we've actually got Mercury retrograde, okay, the planet of communications, haste and speed, retrograde, in your 10th house of career, Pisces, in a tight conjunction with the Sun. And there seems to be some kind of reworking going on as it relates to either how you're earning your money, or maybe what your trajectory is when it comes to your professional or financial path. Remember, the 10th house talks about your path when it comes to how you make your mark on the world. Not only how you're making your mark on the world, but what your social prominence is, your level of authority in your workspace, as well as what your connections are doing for you when it comes to lifting you up. Now, with Mercury retrograde in, conjunct the Sun, there is a revision or a rewrite when it comes to your plan, or maybe your role or your trajectory. But with the Sun involved, this is about maybe even getting you on a shorter path to success, maybe even doing something where we are clearing something from your workload or a financial obligation that should absolutely not even be there, and quite possibly even open up an old opportunity to ascend, transfer, or maybe get a better job or better role that was either blocked or closed to you in the past. With the Sun involved, it can be something that might be a little bit confusing to deal with, though, because the Sun is really insistent on doing this kind of thing. It's all about feeding in positive energy everywhere it goes. And it feels like a mixed message because Mercury is retrograde, so the messages that are coming out are a bit confusing. They might not necessarily seem like the idea is all put together. You might be getting a bit of a first draft instead of a real proposal, but at the same time, it is legitimate. It's the beginning of a really good conversation I want you all to be able to have. I know it's Mercury retrograde, but you shouldn't be hunkering down in the dark praying for daylight. It's okay to interact. On Friday, we have Venus, planet of love, harmony, and affection, in your 11th house of friendships and social networking, forming a square to Pluto in your 8th house of shared resources, passive income, self-generated income, as well as intimacy. Now, Venus is, of course, the planet of attraction, the planet of the finer things, love, affection, and even generosity and good fortune to a certain degree. But when Venus squares to Pluto, there could be something really nice being offered to you or put on the table for you as it relates to a friend, or maybe even a partner, or quite possibly something that could be bringing you even more money, or maybe some token of good fortune. But with Pluto in the 8th house, it's a bit intense, and what's being put on the table might need to be worked out. There are some wrinkles coming through here because Venus square to Pluto can sometimes be a little overzealous, and whether this is a matter of finance or a matter of intimacy, we don't want things to get so intense that emotionally things are a little bit too hard for certain people to navigate, because it might be confusing. People involved in even strictly platonic and business situations may be feeling like there's a power shift going on, or an inequity in the balance of power. It's important to not only dialogue this and workshop this, but also remember that squares have cures. Never slip into the banality of black and white thinking, especially when it comes to spiritual work and astrology. It will never serve. There is a way to make this perfect, to make this ideal, and to keep everyone's boundaries intact. Now, before we step into the cards, I do want to remind everyone, if you hear extra noise, the guy upstairs is moving out, so of course we've got cleaning and all kinds of things going on, so I apologize for that. Also, those of you who are part of Patreon, your monthly astrology horoscopes will be up here as we get to the 23rd. That's this coming Sunday. And if any of you are out there interested in learning more about soulmates, soul family, twin flames, and oversoul groups, that video is up on the main channel page as well, and I'll put a link in the down bar below for you to open up and check out if you'd like. So what is going on when it comes to your cards this coming week? Well, for your spiritual themes, we actually have the Four of Cups upright. And this is indicating that there is always an extra option to look for. That's the Four of Cups, right? We talk about being able to incorporate something new or take a path less traveled. When we talk about the Four of Cups, in a lot of cases, it shows up in readings where people might be feeling like what they see is all they have. They are trusting their eyes and ears only, and they're not actually happy with it. They may not necessarily be unhappy, but there is a self-imposed limitation of what they can hear, see, receive, and work with. But with the Four of Cups, we also have something else in the offering. Maybe an alternative we had not considered, or perhaps for those of you that have had these put on the table already, there's an urging this week to start straying and paying attention to where it's okay to step off the road more frequently taken as it relates to maybe choices that you're making with your job, choices that you're making with love, maybe choices that you're making with your social life. Because the Four of Cups is saying there is an opportunity to pleasantly disrupt your day and your routine. And I think that you might want to actually do that. It may be a little bit frustrating in the beginning because maybe you don't feel like it's the most organized way to go about your life. But with the Four of Cups, there is something in the offering for you that allows you to get off something you were stuck with or you thought you were stuck with. As we get to the influx, what's coming into your life, we actually have the Tower upright. And the Tower card upright is all about things coming to an end that are long overdue for their ending. And I'm feeling for this week, for a lot of you Gemini people, the reason there's this urging to take an alternative that we've been tempted with or we've not fully fleshed out is because something that we may actually be sort of taking for granted as it relates to many areas of our life is no longer going to be there. Now, with the Tower card upright, it's something that's past its time. It's something that ultimately does need to go in the highest interest of all concerned, but because it was maintained, or perhaps it was capitulated to, or it was held to, it's not necessarily as easy to let go. That's why the Tower is so aggressive, is because the Tower comes after the Death card. The Death card is things passing in a natural order of things. It's not a surprise, and people are letting things go in a way that is smooth and clear. But the Tower shows up after people don't necessarily do that, and all of a sudden the universe steps in and says, I'm sorry, whatever is going on in this situation, whether it's because there's an attachment to this, or there's a fear of change, or maybe some ego on a group or corporate level, this still needs to move. And with the Tower, there is this alteration that is coming in. Something is getting blown up, essentially. Now, I think that this is going to be something that you are okay with at the end of the day. The Tower card is indicating the demolition is stressful, but in a weird way, you're almost happy to see it go. You might not necessarily wish it had to go that way, but there is a sense of relief and release. And this Outflux card with the Temperance card reversed is, giving more to that point, because with the Temperance card reversed, there's no longer this energy of trying to force things that are incompatible, don't belong together, are not applicable to each other's experiences, or not complementary to each other's experiences, to occupy the same space or the same experience in your life. We are no longer trying to force things that are actually not good for each other, or possibly are a detriment to one another, to stay in that same spot at the same time. And you could be feeling a very big relief from that, right? With the Tower card upright, it could be, yes, there is some huge disruption going on, but we no longer have to share space, time, and energy, maybe with a toxic coworker, or maybe we're in a circumstance where the Tower frees us up to have more mobility when it comes to our living situation. Maybe there's something going on where a burden that we've been holding on to has to be blown away. It might take a chunk of the wall with it, but at the same time, it's better than having to carry it for one more day. As we get down to your mundane concerns when it comes to your money and other people, well, for your material wealth, we actually have the Four of Pentacles in reverse. And there is that pleasant release going on, because the Four of Pentacles reverse is giving this very clear indication that something that has either been holding on to you or holding you in one space, or maybe even blocking you from taking your next step or jumping up to a higher level, is actually releasing its hold this week. This could be something that you've been stuck with as far as an account, maybe a limitation when it comes to funds or monthly profits, or maybe even somebody withholding something from you, or withholding maybe something that should be yours. The Four of Pentacles reversed is indicating a release of that clinginess, a release of that possessiveness going on at this time. This could, however, also be, that's my cat snoring, it's just a noisy week. It could be as well with that, that Four of Pentacles in reverse, that a lot of you are able to let go of something that you've been feeling forced to hold on to or hold the fort down for somebody else. Something that could be costly, something that is either costing you availability to more industrious and profitable things, or something that's actually taking time and money out of your wallet as well. The good news is we are relieving you of burdens left and right. Now for the external, maybe when it comes to friends and relatives and other people in your life, we do have the Three of Swords in reverse. And there is going to be sort of a weird energy coming out of a friend or a relative that is, I hate to put it this way, but it's almost like somebody who's trying to put a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. This does not look like a permanent fix to a problem that maybe we are trying to confront with this person. Maybe we're trying to help this person help themselves. But with the Three of Swords reversed, we often see somebody who might be in sort of that bargaining stage, psychologically speaking, where they think, if I do this, this, and this, and this will change, and I don't have to go to the next step, or I don't have to go any further. Sometimes with the Three of Swords reversed, this could also indicate some concern or disappointment about the choices that maybe a friend or a relative is making over what they are doing with shared interests that we have with them, or maybe even somebody that they are actively pursuing as a friend, or maybe a relationship choice that they are turning a blind eye to some pretty red flag looking things. But with the Three of Swords reversed, ultimately this week, it does feel like this person can't be reasoned with if they're in the bargaining phase and they're trying to make something pass that will not pass for healthy. It's important to understand that, when they are in that space, don't judge them, don't attack them. See what you can do to help them through it. Don't try to, wave a magic wand and make it go automatically, into repress that urge mode or suppress what they're going through. Sometimes the toughest space to be is in that bargaining stage, because it can go on for a very, very long time, and the best way to help people in that stage is to actually help them go through it a little bit more quickly, not make them stop. When it comes to relationships, when it comes to the emotions and your romantic life, we have the Two of Swords in reverse, and a lot of you Gemini people are in a wonderful position when it comes to doing something that is securing your commitment, either a new commitment or an existing one, to a future with your partner or your future partner that is ultimately all your own. We are finally getting away from maybe living our lives as a couple in a vein where we are following a model that doesn't work for us, or Temperance card reversed, trying to do things that are not compatible with us, trying to incorporate people or accommodate spaces and needs of others that do not work for us. The Two of Swords reversed is indicating a partner is also going to be making some really healthy choices as far as pruning their social life this week, and you could be seeing that there could be a big removal of some toxic influences in their life, or maybe even taking some space away from maybe people or attachments or endeavors that they are a part of that are actually keeping them locked in a certain space and time. For those of you who are currently available, well, the Two of Swords reversed is indicating that there is somebody who is coming in that actually is looking for commitment in the same style of commitment as you, but they are also in a place where they are reinventing their social life. So this is a week where we want to make sure that we don't let this go too fast, but we also understand that this is going to start with a meeting of the minds, and you may find that we are in a very compatible way because this person is brave enough to let go of maybe external social pressures to have a relationship go any other way than organic and true to themselves, which you should be doing as well. So that is your horoscope. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You know I appreciate it. And should you ever wish to get a session with me, go on ahead to my website. It's called integrativemysticism.com.